Okay, there we go.
So this is Kristen Thompson. Kristen is the founder of Joshua 9, and that's the organization I've been working with in the Dominican. I've been working with the Dominican Republic for like the last 5 years. Um, Kristen is the co-founder, and a lot of the heavy lifting that on our organization goes to Kristen. But she also has been to the DR multiple times. I think I've been 4 times, but Kristen probably goes 4 times a year, pretty close or somewhere in there.
Yeah, we figured
Uh,
out my last trip that I've been down about 30 times.
yeah.
So since 2012.
So I'm going to let Kristen kind of talk a little bit about Joshua 9 so you guys kind of know who we are.
Yeah. Well, thanks you guys for finding time in your busy schedule. I know with sports and school and everything, it's always busy, right? Especially this time of year. Um, so yeah, like Steve said, I'm the co-founder and I'm the current president of Joshua 9 Ministries. And we are a NGO that's working in the Dominican Republic in a small community called Negro. And we are considered a sports-based program. And we basically utilize baseball as a way to give kids an opportunity to stay in school, encourage them to stay in school, to receive additional support through equipment and food. And then we also have a spiritual component to our program as well. And there's mentoring and devotionals that go on with the kids as well. So it's kind of about the entire piece of the puzzle for kids, but using basically the picture is let's use sports to build up good people, good healthy people, and to support a community that otherwise has no support. So we've done a water project, we've done a literacy project. We have, built a kitchen so that we can provide food for the kids a couple times a week. And we have a team of about 150 kids from age 5 to age 19, and 6 paid coaches that support those kids. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm pretty lucky to get to be part of it. So um, we really love being able to bring people down to introduce them to the community and have whether it's a baseball experience or a youth group from a church or a family that just wants to go down and do some good. We've done a lot of work with Rotary, going down and doing projects in the community. And yeah, so just kind of a large gamut of opportunities for people that go down and just basically get to go love on people and learn some skills if baseball's the thing, and get to go get immersed into that baseball culture down there, which is second to none. So
Pretty awesome.
yeah. So I
So
don't know. Yeah, beyond that, Steve, I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit about what a trip looks like, or if you, Scott or Sally, have specific questions that we could answer before maybe you get pulled in different directions, or, I don't know how best you want to move forward with providing information.
well, let's start with questions first. Do you guys have any questions for Kristen or anything that you'd like us to talk about before I kind of move into some other stuff? Okay. So
Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to unmute. Um, I looked through the that original pamphlet or sheets that were sent, and I thought everything sounded good. I was just wondering more about just kind of day to day and where people stay, and is it usually more like families that go, or is it just the boys or
so it's kind of both. Um, we have taken portions of baseball teams down there. And what happens is what the kids will find when they get to Fontenegro, which is where we work, and there's a field there. It's a concrete stadium. Um, it's a little bit of an eye opener in terms of how rough it can be a little bit, but it's for the Dominican Republic. It's actually a pretty nice field. Um, and the kids, when they get there, the Dominican kids and coaches kind of glom on to the American kids and kind of make them part of practice and all that stuff. They're out there every day from about 3 o'clock to about 6 or 7. Anywhere from 50 or 60 kids to 150 kids. It kind of depends on the day and kind of what's going on. And the kids are doing drills, they're doing baseball workouts, they're taking BP, they're throwing bullpens. It's kind of fun. And then usually on the weekends, there's a game, either internally or with another town. One of the things we found is Fontenegro is a small town. I think it's about 2,000 people, Kristen, something like that.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe 3,200. Yeah. There's
So
700 kids in the town at this point, boys and girls.
everybody kind of knows everybody, and what started happening for us is now we're getting kids that are coming from outlying communities to come to go to baseball practice, and there are no buses. Those kids are hitchhiking. They're showing up every day to come play. As a matter of fact, the last time I was down there, we wound up giving them a bus ride home, or on the part of the way home, and they had to walk another couple of miles to get their houses. And this is nighttime. So their commitment to baseball and the program is pretty awesome. A typical. I know, Sally, you said you saw the sample impact trip, what that looks like. So the first day, kind of fly from Seattle to Santo Domingo. We spend the night in Santo Domingo, and depending on what the itinerary, how it's structured, we may spend the day there, or we may go on and go to Fontenegro, which is about a 3-hour drive or so, maybe a little longer than that, from Santo Domingo to Fontenegro. And then we don't actually stay in Fontenegro. Sally asked about where we're staying. We stay in a hotel. It's called the Hotel Costa Larimar. Larimar is a gem that's in the Dominican Republic. You see Larimar everywhere, but the hotel has a pool. For a Dominican hotel, it's pretty nice. It's not without challenges. Sometimes they have some the occasional plumbing or water issue, but it's clean and it's safe and it's close to where we're going. I know that it's really nice sometimes in the evening to come home and jump in the pool after you've been out in the hot, muggy Dominican weather. So anyway, the first day we'd come into Fontenegro and Barahona, which is where this hotel is, and that's about 30 minutes from the hotel to Fontenegro. So we come into town. We may stop in and say hello to everybody and go to the hotel and check in and get all set, squared away. Typically the days while you're in Fontenegro, the morning typically try to find some kind of project to do. I've painted houses, we've built latrines, we built a kitchen, we painted. There's kind of community service projects, and we have a person on the ground there that kind of knows the community well, know who really needs what. We built a wall in a house before. The housing's pretty modest. It's mostly cinder block and maybe some tin. But anyway, it's a nice place to go visit. So we'll go and hang out there in the mornings. We'll kind of do our little thing. In the afternoon, we'll go play baseball. Kids can be out there and hang with Dominican kids. We can also, depending on what kind of turnout we get from us, I thought it'd be nice to try and schedule some games down the Dominican thing. The last time we were there, we visited the Tampa Bay Rays Dominican facility, and all the Major League Baseball clubs have facilities in the Dominican Republic. And they're very, very nice. They're like the spring training camps. When I took my Knights team down there 5 years ago, we actually played at one of those facilities. I don't know if that's possible for us to swing that again with us, but it would certainly be a really cool thing to be able to do. What else?
Scott, did you have a question?
I did. So like, let's say that you get 5 or 6 players to go, right? Would we just kind of integrate with one of their teams and just play with them, right? I'm guessing this isn't like a tournament, and we're not playing, a game against Dominican kids. We're just going to play with them. Is that right?
Yes, mostly. Um, like I was saying, the Dominican players and coaches are very, very welcoming with kids coming down to play. I know that there are kids that the head guy down there as far as baseball stuff is his name is Chico, and Chico is quite the character, and he's very, very welcoming and very, very kind and very, very much trying to make the kids feel welcome where they're there. And quite frankly, the language doesn't seem much of an issue um, when the kids are playing baseball. I mean, when we go, we have interpreters for us. So if you want to ask somebody a question, we have people that help us with that, interpreters that we hire. It's part of the trip. But yeah, that's what you'd be doing. You'd be probably, unless we get 10, 12 people, you're probably talking about going down, um, enjoying the ambiance of Montenegro and the little community, and playing baseball with the kids. Um, the other thing, there's a little bit of a cultural immersion piece to this too, where you may go for a day and spend a morning with the Dominican family and cook with them and hang out with them. If you play dominoes is a big deal in the Dominican Republic.
If you don't play
Um,
dominoes, you will before you leave.
yeah, it's really fun. So
Sally, you asked the
let's see.
question of do families go or just the kids? And that will be somewhat up to the leaders of your team. So we've taken just straight youth trips before where there's, a number of chaperones to go with the youth. Um, but fewer adults than kids. And then we've done a lot of family trips before too, where the group says we're going to take, mom or mom and dad or dad and kid, and they go down as a family. So that would all be dependent on your group and how you guys wanted to put that together.
So my plan is, Scott, or Scott Kuda, my plan is that if we don't get a lot of folks from our team, I mean, one's fine, two, three, whatever that looks like is fine. But I may open it up to other parts of the Narrows program. We have a member of our board of directors who has some friends that may want to go at the same time we're talking about going. And I may put it out to some friends in baseball that are not necessarily part of Narrows, or just people I know that have expressed a desire to go again. So,
And this is going to be like in August, right? That's what you were thinking?
yeah, early August. I'm trying to make sure we don't have the kids gone during tryouts, although our kids shouldn't have to try out next year. But I'm trying to avoid that. So it may be I think I looked today. Hold on a second.
While you're looking, we have to have 8 people to make a trip go together. So that would be the minimum of what would need to be put together for a team to go. Just have that in the back of your mind.
Yeah. Well, you got a couple of text messages here from the Kings, the Thaden's folks, and the Warners. They can't go, so they're not interested.
Were you looking up the date, Steve, the August date?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You got
Yeah.
distracted.
Short attention span theater.
Steve, thank you. I'm gonna leave right now, but I will catch up with you later. Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
See you Saturday, Scott.
All right. Thank you.
I
I
was
guess
looking
my
like the 9th or 10th of August and going through like the 16th. That's a Saturday through Saturday. Or is it Saturday through Sunday we usually go?
Saturday to Saturday.
And what do you anticipate the approximate cost would be? Versus per person or per player, I suppose, because I guess I would decide whether or not we try and go whether or not we would try and go as a family, or for example, if we just send a player, if you guys have plenty of chaperones and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the cost is $1,200 for the week per person. So that does not cover your airfare, and airfare is typically 1,000 to 1,200. But it's a moving target, obviously.
Hmm.
And the $1,200 covers all lodging, transportation, food. I mean, it's literally everything that you would need to pay for in country, other than having souvenirs, or if you're over 21 and you want to buy adult beverages, everything is covered in that $1,200.
It's really worthwhile to spend some time in Santo Domingo, the capital of the Dominican Republic. Really, some really cool old structures, old cannon. There's a really neat statue of Christopher Columbus in the plaza. But it's a really, really cool place to go to kind of walk around downtown. Um, there are other things too, as far as side trips you can do, where you go like to a beach, or there's an island that I know you've gone to before, Kristen, towards Haiti a little bit, although I'm not sure. I've never made that particular one, but there are side excursions we can do depending on what the group wants to do.
So it's relatively safe. I mean, obviously nothing's fully safe, but I guess I just keep getting Haiti in my mind too, right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same island, right? But if you
Yeah.
consider that the airlines that have been having trouble this week diverted to the Dominican Republic,
Yeah.
it shows you that it's a completely different political environment. It is obviously like their neighbors, but the
Yeah, I've
political,
been there one time a couple years ago, but we were just, Punta Cana and
yeah,
not,
which is gorgeous. It's
yeah,
gorgeous there, but it's
but
very
not
different.
really out of the touristy area.
Yeah, yeah. We're about almost an 8 hour drive from Punta Cana, actually, all the way across
Oh,
the ocean.
wow.
Yeah, it's a long ways.
It's
So
a big island.
yeah, it is surprisingly large island. Um, yeah, it's a democracy there. It's the political climate is far more stable. At some point, and the economic climate as well, actually. It's a real shame. At some point, there was a Haitian leader who decided it would be a good idea to basically strip all of their natural resources and do whatever with them. I'm sure he got paid and he pocketed the money and left everything behind. And it's really decimated the Haitian economic system. And the Dominican Republic has done the opposite. They've continued to put money into their natural resources and to, create a desirable environment for tourism and, have exports of sugar. Sugar is one of their largest exports. So it really is a very different political environment there, and the crime levels are significantly lower. Just like any large city, there's petty crime. Places not in Fontenegro, you're not going to find that. But in the capital, you have to watch your pockets. But just like you would in New York, it's no different from, a million population city. Um, but it is a big city, so
Yeah,
but
it makes
totally different
perfect
than me.
sense.
Yeah.
Oh, did I lose somebody?
Nope,
No,
we
we're
got you.
here.
You're
I'm just
muted
waiting
now,
to see.
Scott.
Oh, I haven't used
Well, let
Zoom
me
in a
ask.
while.
You're lucky.
Well, I know that the Noviks were interested in this. I've talked to Dan a couple of times,
Yeah.
um, but I don't know who else. I'm assuming you guys are here because you're interested, but um, how interested are you? If that's something that you want to consider,
Yeah,
talking
I mean,
about a
I
little bit
think a
more.
little bit depends upon the dates potentially. I could see, we usually go on one trip we take a year. We usually go like the first week in August. So, I have to kind of work that out with my work schedule. But for example, if Sam went with somebody else with one, like another family member, then I could send him, potentially. So
Right,
I think that's kind of what some of that depends on what our plans for this year are. And so,
right.
Yeah, we're kind
Okay.
of in a similar boat too, and I think it would just depend on who else would be going too. Because Jackson's, I feel like he's a little bit hesitant on it, but I feel like he'd be more so likely to do it, want to do it more if there were some more friend like Sam and
Yeah, I think if
who.
Sam and Spencer and Caleb went,
Yeah,
I think they'd be more apt to do it, and especially if there's enough adults that, that if I couldn't go,
yeah.
Right.
then I would feel, I'd feel pretty comfortable with that.
Okay. So timeline wise, typically, um, there's like what is it, $250 deposit per family or per kid to kind
For
of,
traveler. Yep.
per traveler that goes out. Usually it's a year out, but
Usually like
maybe
6 months
after
out. So January-ish would
okay.
be a good time frame for that. Yeah, we
Um,
can start sending out applications that people can fill out, which is no obligation. You just put your application in as someone who's interested, and that helps us put together communication to people and just kind of get it narrowed down to who potentially would be interested in going. But yeah, just after the first of the year, and the reason for that is because we want to have a financial contribution when we start looking at flights, and the earlier we start looking at flights, the better deal we can get. You can kind of keep an eye on it as it moves closer and jump when the irons strike when the iron's hot. So
one of the things we didn't talk about a little bit is when we go, um, usually we're hauling some kind of equipment down from donations, and you guys have heard me talk about that before. But the kids are, talk to their friends and things like gloves and baseball pants and bats and catcher's gear. That stuff's all needed. I mean, they're a lot better. The kids in Fontenegro are a lot better than when Kristen started about 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
yeah, ish. Yep.
The kids are a lot better off, but yeah, that's a really cool thing. And there's a gear day where we give the kids. The coaches will hand out kids things like jerseys and hats and gloves. They know what kid needs what. Um, that's one of the highlights of the week is and it's really fun to watch the kids. They really really appreciate the stuff that goes down there. Um,
It's also cool
that's
to
Yeah,
a
see the Americans by the end of the week. They're like, "Can I leave my shoes behind for this kid? Or can you give him my pants?" Or, that happens a lot too.
well. When I took the Knights down there in 2019, the last time we played, we were playing at the San Francisco Giants facility, and the kids they played all week long, and so they got done with that. And my kids are taking off their uniforms, their catcher's gear, their bats, their gloves, and they're just giving all that stuff to the Dominican kids. I left all the baseballs we brought. I left all that stuff down there. Um, but it's just one thing we did do is, and that's something we could consider actually in Fontenegro. I did a clinic when I was down there for kids where we ran drills and my kids participated. We did things like, fielding drills. We did BP. We did all these different things. We did a golden glove thing, which I couldn't get the kids out. I'm hitting bungos for 45 minutes to 50 kids and nobody's missing. But it's just a really, that part of it's unforgettable. I mean, for me, it's been 2 years since I've been down there, and I feel like I'm missing my family. Like I said, they're really, really. They'll make you feel like family down there. I'm very, very comfortable with the safety aspect of being in Fontenegro. I've never had an issue there. And like I said, in Fontenegro, Kristen's like the Pied Piper. I've called the Pied Piper before, but he kind of hangs out with her. But the little kids, the little girls, and the little boys, and all those guys are hanging out. And, the community comes out for practice, by the way, every day. There'll be the kids on the field out there and the coaches and all that stuff and people watching, but it's the community. They come out every day to come watch and hang out. And they'll do things like bring like a Dominican kind of peanut butter comes out of there, pineapple or one of the coaches will get fresh coconut and break the top off fresh coconut and have fresh coconut milk for you. But it's a really cool experience for that. So.
Hey, Steve, you mentioned the kind of the service aspect of it. Like you said, a few days they'd be doing projects. Do you guys already have projects lined up that they'd be doing within the community? Or is that kind of like, you just kind of figure it out when you get there?
Well, we'll have, oh, go ahead, Kristen, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we don't figure it out when we get there. We have a plan before we get down, but we wouldn't be establishing that project until we know what the group looks like as far as, do we have adults that have construction background or do we just have 10-year-olds, and that definitely changes what the project looks like.
Like I said, I've done a couple of things. Now, last time I was down there, I was on the wrong end of a wheelbarrow for most of the week. But we built a kitchen for the players, which is a big deal. So those kind of things are out there. Kind of depends on the interest of the group. We can give options as we begin the planning phase. Give options. We can do this. We can do this. You guys want to try this? We have things we've done before, but that doesn't limit it to that. There may be things that the travelers come up with they want to do, and we're open to listening, whatever that looks like.
Well, sounds like a really, really awesome thing and a lifetime memory for sure, and could be life-changing for some. I'll definitely
Well, Sally,
Jackson.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Sally, I would tell you that and Jackson, are you in the car now, bud?
No, it was my other son, Cooper. Now he's inside
okay.
and I'm sitting in the driveway. Jackson's off to his basketball now. That's where Coach Scott went too.
Okay. But yeah, they love having us come down. It's a really great experience. And the kids that I took down with my Knights team 5 years ago, still talk about it. It was really moving, really powerful experience. And you kind of get a little more of appreciation for what our kids have in terms of facilities and equipment and coaching. And it's a really cool experience. And what's fun is to watch, for example, the guy who's the pitching coach, his name is Felix Heredia. And Felix pitched for the Marlins in the World Series in 1995, 96.
I don't remember. It was 2 years.
Anyway,
it was two of them.
Yeah, he was a pitcher in the World Series. That's the pitching coach, and watching him work with the kids and how he teaches and how the message is delivered is really, really cool. And I've watched him we have a couple of kids right now that one of the components of our mission or ministry is in the Dominican Republic, young baseball players are a commodity. And there are guys out there that are scouts that will go recruit these kids when they're 12 years old. And if they're good enough, they'll say, if you give me a part of whatever your signing bonus is, and there's no guarantee in the back end of that, when you're 16 years old, I'll take you on as a player. And I'll coach you and try to prepare you to get drafted. The problem is the chance of getting drafted in the DR is no greater than a chance to get drafted here. So there are a lot of kids that will forego schooling for that 4 years from 12 to 16 and work with a scout. And then all of a sudden it doesn't work out. They don't get drafted. And now there have been 4 years, no education, no schooling. And now it perpetuates the cycle of poverty. And our job, one of the things we try to do is have the kids be prepared for something beyond baseball, which is really important. I can't imagine one of our parents allowing one of our kids to go 4 years and not go to school. That's a large component of what we do, and it's very important that the kids get the message that they're valued beyond their baseball skills, which are pretty awesome. I mean, there's some really good baseball players. We have, I think, 2 kids right now. Is Ronaldo still done right now?
Yeah, Ronaldo's done, but we have Leonardo now who signed, so we have 2.
Leonardo and Lorenzo.
Yep.
One kid's a Arizona Diamondbacks farmhand. And I'm not. Where does Leonardo go?
He's with
Who
Tampa,
signed
but
him?
he's still in the Dominican leagues. So
Okay. All right. So that does happen for our kids in the Dominican Republic, but the message is, even though as talented as these kids are, and they're really talented, there's a lot of barriers between, economics, the language, being seen, by people who actually you can trust and actually help you, not trying to take advantage of you. There's a lot to that. So, but it's a great experience. Like I said, my kids that went before, I talked to Kristen the other day. I thought about I could have had one of those kids come on and talk about their experience from a player standpoint. So moving forward, Kristen, I think I'd like to talk to the rest of my team again and make sure that see where the interest really lies with this. And then if folks really don't want to go, then that's cool, and we'll figure something else out in terms of trying to fill up.
sounds good.
I know that Scott, you know who Ethan Marr is?
Yeah, I know Ethan Marr.
Yeah, Ethan Marr has been bugging me for 4 years to go. So I know that Bruce was really interested. They're both really interested in going down there. So okay.
All right.
You guys have any more questions? Sally, you have any questions?
I think that was a pretty good start.
Yeah, I think so too. I need to get out that sheet again and look it over again.
If you guys get a chance, it'd be helpful. If you want to talk to folks on the team too, that'd be great. If they're out there that are interested, I don't know if it's the cost, the timing. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's more than a vacation. It's more than going to a tournament and playing somewhere. It really is.
Yeah, and we could get him to do some fundraisers too.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
That happens typically with youth trips. There's some significant fundraising that goes on for sure.
Yeah.
It brings the team together too, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. My phone
Okay.
number, and Steve's, you guys have Steve's number, but my phone number is on that flyer. So if you have any questions of me, and then my email, I emailed everybody today too, so you could always email me. Happy to answer any questions that you might have about the organization or what a trip looks like. And yeah, and I'll send a copy of this meeting to Steve to send out to you guys for people who couldn't make it. So
Thank you so
Okay.
much for both your time.
yeah. Well, I hope it
No
comes
problem.
together. You won't regret it. If you can make it
I
happen.
believe that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it will
I
be.
believe that.
I've never had someone say they regretted going ever. So
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. It really does sound awesome.
Okay. Scott, anything from you, buddy?
Sorry. Sam knows how to work Zoom, but I don't very well. So I have to flip it to the other screen in order to be able to talk.
Are you
So,
good?
yeah. I'm good. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think I got my questions answered.
cool.
Okay. Cool.
Well, good
All
luck
right,
with
thanks,
basketball
See you
season.
later. Yeah, we'll
All
get
right.
Thank
into
you.
that.
Nice to meet all of you.
You too. Thanks so
Great.
much.
Take care.
All right. Take care. Bye, Kristen.
Bye.